Howdy, everyone. Welcome to the first official episode of the Trak Podcast, covering all things sports, entertainment, and betting. I'm the Rook, and I'm joined by
I'm the kid. Let's get it.
the damn kid.
Yes,
Yo,
sir.
We in this. We in here.
We in here. Follow your dreams, kids. Don't ever let them tell you. Let me tell you something.
Anything's possible.
The rainbow ain't all rainbows and sunshines. Nothing is harder than life. Ain't about how hard you can get hit. It's all about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's what we're going to be doing on this damn thing. We're going to be trying moving forward as we go out, trying to make some progress. But welcome to the first official episode. We are excited to get started. We're going to start off with some, of course, NFC and AFC championship games concluded this weekend. And so there's a lot to talk about there. We had the Eagles versus the 49ers. What a crap game that was. Yeah. Cowboys and Eagles and the 49ers. You got my Cowboys rent-free in my damn head. But what a crap game that was. We can start there. And we also had the Bengals and the Chiefs, which was an extremely exciting game that was aired yesterday. But we'll start with the 49ers and the Eagles. Final score was 31-7. Eagles, I mean, gosh. It pains me. These are my two least favorite teams in the NFL. I mean, you got the 49ers who, as you can see, we are Dallas Cowboys fans. The 49ers last 2 years have been the reason we are sitting on the couch, as well as other Dallas Cowboys players sitting on the couch, drinking beer and watching the NBA, hoping their bet hits, which we'll get into later. But, man, Eagles 31, 49ers 7, Jalen Hurts 15-25, like 125 yards. Let's talk about this game. You think it would have been different if Brock Purdy hadn't got hurt early on?
I believe that if the game would have went on with Brock Purdy, I believe the Eagles would have still won. The big difference was Purdy came out today that he tore his UCL. I don't know if he's getting Tommy John or not, but a big factor was they couldn't throw the ball. But when he was throwing it, Hassan Reddick, he looked like Micah Parsons out there. I tell you what, every time the ball was snapped, he was on the ball. And
hold on, are you saying that Hassan Reddick is better than Micah Parsons? Cancel.
No.
Cancel.
No. Micah Parsons is Lawrence Taylor. It's Lawrence Taylor. Hassan Reddick is like Micah Parsons, but he's not quite there. Fantastic player, though. And, McCaffrey did his thing, show you how a white boy runs a football, works the longest yard. And
that's how a white man runs a football.
That's how a white man runs a football. And, they did Eagles did a fantastic job, limiting to, they played to their advantages. Once they couldn't throw the ball, they threw in Josh Johnson. And he's been on half the association since he's been in the league for the last 13 years.
15 damn teams.
It's like his 90th stretch with the Niners. You would think he'd have the system down by now, but quite frankly, he does not. Eagles were just a better team. There's nowhere else to put it. And, I'm rooting for the other team. You won't catch me rooting for the Eagles ever again. But going into the game, I had the Eagles winning 24-21. But, props to the Eagles and, Niners, they're coming back with more hungry. They have a little bit of quarterback controversy. Tom Brady maybe might be joining them, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, Tom Brady to the 49ers, that would be insane. He'll be 57 next year, so, that'll be fun to watch him playing his little stretchers and with the tennis balls at the bottom and chunking 80-mile-an-hour fastballs, 3 yards down the field the whole time. Gosh, I can't get over it. Going back that UCL, which, by the way, UCL injuries, that's like a 6 to 9 month injury, which is just horrible news for a rookie quarterback that had such a great beginning to his career. And now, as we thought that, Brock Purdy would probably be that starter going into next year, into camp and stuff like that. Now it's like, what do? You just signed, last year or for this year, you signed Jimmy Garoppolo to that 1-year deal. And now he's going to be a free agent. You probably are not bringing him back. I wouldn't want to. And you got Trey Lance, who just had that horrific injury, and Brock Purdy. I don't know. What would you go into the draft and, do it again? Late round draft a quarterback? Would you? I don't know. I'm not really sure how I would handle it personally, but
if I was the Niners, I would trade Jimmy G and a pack of Takis just to get him out of there. A family-size pack too, not the little bag. He's worth more than just a little pack of Takis. He's like the family-size pack.
He's a good-looking guy.
He's a very handsome man, and I think they have to roll with Trey Lance next year. I really don't think they have quite a choice unless they get someone like Tom Brady or, here's a little shot out of the cannon, maybe Derek Carr. They probably might not go that way, but they traded their whole life savings for Trey Lance, and it hasn't panned out quite yet. And then you have this Mr. Irrelevant come in, and he goes 7-0, or actually 7-1 now. He played exceptionally well. He was a good game manager. Showed a little bit of glimpse of athleticism and all that. But for the most part, I think if unless you get a star quarterback, you have to roll with Trey Lance. And even when Purdy's healthy, I think you still got to keep it going. And we'll see how it goes. There's a little bit of quarterback controversy, but whatever happens at this point.
Yeah, quarterback controversy, but I feel like it's a good one. There are other ones. There are the stupid ones where it's like Dak or Cooper Rush, and you're like, okay, well, Cooper Rush,
sure. Baby.
Cooper Rush time. The Rush Hour.
Cooper Rush, baby!
Red Rocket 2.0, but it's a good controversy to have, in my opinion. And, I think that's two really good performing quarterbacks. We haven't seen the best of Trey Lance yet. I'm sure he'll be fine. He'll adjust. That's FCS best right there. But, Eagles are going on to the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts did not do much in this game, which it's totally okay. We talk about it all the time before we started this podcast, and how did we want the Cowboys to win and all this kind of stuff. We said we did not care who performed well. We just wanted to win, and I think that's what the Eagles are getting. As lucked out as they have been with the Giants, which who knew if they were actually relevant or not. They've had a pretty good playoff run for the team they had. But, easy game, it looked like they're a complete blowout. The next game, Brock Purdy goes down. Josh Johnson goes down. They can't even run the ball. Christian McCaffrey goes in there and runs a quadruple reverse and chunks the ball about 58 yards down the sideline. We're all like, oh, who's down there? Nobody.
They call him Air C-Mac for no reason, man. He has a little bit of an arm,
My coach in high school used to tell me, if you need to throw the way, find me in the stands, as in like find my offense coordinator in the stands and throw it to me. And I think what Christian McCaffrey did on that play was find the owner, John Lynch, and just chunk it about 45, 50 yards downfield. And John Lynch picked up the ball and was probably like cussing the ball out or something like that, But I don't know. We'll see. Eagles they're not going to be able to, in my opinion, I don't think they're going to be able to separate that far from old Patrick Mahomes, which brings us into our Bengals and Chiefs game, which aired last night. A much better game, and a heartbreaking ending for Osai. But what do we see in this game?
For one, anybody who thinks that there's anybody close to Mahomes, debate a wall. You're not getting anywhere with anybody at this point. Mahomes is the best player and quarterback in the league. Yes, debate your closet. Debate
your closet door on that one. If you don't,
debate your pillow. Do your pillow talking by yourself about Mahomes and someone else. There's nobody on Mahomes' level.
Say it to your ceiling wall. As you're staring there on your back while you're sleeping, and you're saying, "I swear, there's somebody better than Mahomes." I guarantee the ceiling fan will catch that wherever you think that message is going, and it'll revert right back into your own brain. So
they might. The ceiling fan might tell you you're dumb too, to even question that Mahomes is the best or not. Mahomes is playing on a bummed ankle. He's still, that throw on 3rd and 10 to MVS in the end zone was a top 5 throw of the year. that window, he threw on his bummed ankle. And defense, I'm glad that Chris Jones finally got his first career playoff sack.
First career postseason sack.
Great,
Insane.
Great interior D lineman. He's a monster. He really is. If
Aaron Donald, him in a damn State Farm commercial, for crying out loud.
Hey, they need to add someone, a guest star. You better put Chris Jones or even, Travis Kelce, someone like that. I know Kelce would be really
intriguing. You gotta fight for your right.
Burrow hit my ass. Burrow hit my ass. This is Mahomes' house, baby.
I think Mahomes even said that again in the press conference. He was like, you know what? Yeah, I don't think this is Burrowhead idiots.
Yeah, they smoked some cigars, and, there's nothing to it. Mahomes is the best out there, and, he has 2 weeks to prepare for the Super Bowl. I think that's going to help out a lot. High ankle sprains are not the easiest injuries to come back from. I read a report that he actually told the trainer he did not want a shot before the game. Most of the time, you got a little sting or something like that. They're just
they're wrapping that thing up.
Wrapping it up, and flicking the needle a little bit, just. But yeah, I'm excited to see. I think Mahomes, Kelce played a great game. MVS, might call it the MVS game. He played very awesome. Juju going out, McCole Hardman going out. They were limited. They brought up a guy from the practice squad. He caught a ball on third down. With the little things he had, they couldn't even run the ball. Cincinnati played a tremendous game on defense for the most part. But for what was given to Mahomes, props to him. He made a play when he needed to. Besides the fumble he had on that weird play, I don't even know how to describe it, to be honest. He did a very great job, and I'm looking forward to watching him in the Super Bowl.
Is it one of those plays that Chris Collinsworth would say, incredible play, and then you watch Trevor Lawrence throw a 70-yard bomb?
Well, if Chris Collinsworth was watching a game, he'd be like, "Oh my God, I don't think I've ever seen that before. That might be the best throw I've ever seen."
No, he'd be like, "I'll tell you what, man, this guy's remarkable. He's truly remarkable. And that might be the greatest missed pass I've ever seen. On a bum ankle, moving to his right, throwing opposite shoulder, straight into the turf."
Oh, what did I just see?
And Mike Tirico's would be like, yeah, 100%, Chris. Yeah, blah. What's
Chris, could you
great broadcasting crew there. It's just, it sounded like Romo with Josh Allen. He thinks he's Superman. And then you get,
because they're the same guy. They play the same. They're both they're top two when they were both playing. And
hey yo,
I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding.
I don't have a
he was number
for
3.
That one, but
Romo was number 3. I'm sorry.
Talk about Romo all day long.
I'm a little, I'm a Romo lover. He's a very
handsome
guy,
lover too.
very
no homo, but
I love Romo. No homo, baby.
All right, homo. So Chiefs and Eagles in the Super Bowl. I believe, I don't remember if it was 3-0. Burrow is 3-0 just all time at Arrowhead Stadium against Mahomes.
Yeah. Oh, he was 3-0 all time against Mahomes in general.
Yeah, well, I guess I never played playoff Mahomes more than once. But, I had a feeling Mahomes was going to win. You can't fuel a man like that with that much fire, and just especially like Eli Apple. That stuff was coming back.
Yeah, he's a little too much.
I mean, that I would put the whole blame. I know that one guy there was that clip, and I would bring it up here if I had the tools to do it. There was that clip of I think it was Jermaine Pratt walking into the locker room and saying, why do you touch the quarterback? And I'm just like,
uncalled for. Uncalled for.
But at the same time, it's like, well, why aren't the heads turning towards Eli Apple? I mean, he's the one that instigated this monster in Mahomes.
Eli Apple, I mean, I respect, I like to do a little trash talking when I do stuff. I'm really competitive just like you. But like you told others, enjoy your vacation in Cancun. Hope you got a ticket ready because you'll be there. Hope you're ready to go Cancun. Go put your toes. Yeah, go get your toes in the water. Sand. Yeah, put your toes in the water, the sand. Get you a Corona Extra, maybe a little bit of lime. After that, get back to work. But I hope you booked your ticket to Cancun because you'll be joining Diggs and all those guys there as well. So
Trayvon and Stephon, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Any initial predictions for the Super Bowl, score-wise? You don't have to go in too much detail. We should get to that later.
At the moment, what I know, I would go. Man, that's tough. Let me go 28-24 Kansas City.
Interesting. I'm gonna go 48-7 Eagles. No, I'm just playing. I'm gonna go. I feel like it's gonna be a lower scoring game.
Oh, you think 45-7?
Yeah. You know what? I would just gonna say I think that's wrong. It's probably gonna be like a 34-27 game. I think the Chiefs come out winning. To be fair, I have an AFC bias right now because I do not want the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. Call me a hater. I really don't care. I do not care about the opinions of sheep. But I got Mahomes winning his second Super Bowl and his third appearance. And, then we can start calling him Michael Jordan, as Tony Romo called him in the podcast.
Well, I mean, he's the he could stop playing football after this year, and he is a Hall of Famer. 5 seasons. You have to. It's they don't want to put him in, but if you really think about it, he's already a Hall of Famer. He can only get better at this point.
Exactly. He's got a long tenure career. He's one of those quarterbacks that once he's not able to move the way he can currently move, he still has the rocket arm strength to compete in this league for a very, very long time.
I mean, he passed Troy Aikman on a Monday night game while Troy Aikman was calling the game. It's where Kelsey had 4 touchdowns. I believe it was against the Oakland Raiders. And Mahomes passed him. If Mahomes gets another, he's probably going to get another MVP. Then he's going to get a Super Bowl and then maybe a Super Bowl MVP. How do you not put him over someone like Troy Aikman, who's a first ballot Hall of Famer? 3 Super Bowls, You
got to tell the audience how you compare Troy Aikman to the modern day of sports.
Guys, Cowboys fan, I love the Cowboys. And, I've won a Super Bowl. If I had to compare Troy Aikman to a quarterback in today's time, it would definitely be the great Jimmy G. The Jimmy G of the 90s, Troy Aikman.
Oh, yeah. As you can tell, we have all the clips in the world to prove this. We had the technology of the 90s that has been transformed to 2020 technology. So, we can confirm this because we've watched all his games. We were alive. I was born in 2000. They won their championships in 1995. So I can tell you everything there is to know about.
I watched every game when I was a kid. I was born in 1999. I watched him. I think I watched his last game in like 2004.
On like a VHS tape or what?
Yeah, well, no, it was on Fox. I don't think it was a rerun, but I think they were playing the Oilers or something like that. I don't know, but it was the last game I saw him play, and I've seen all his games, so I feel like I'm allowed to critique it.
All right, so we're gonna scoot away from the Super Bowl talk, stuff like that. We had a couple of new offensive coordinator hirings that have happened just recently. Nathaniel Hackett is the new Jets offensive coordinator after a tremendously bad season as the Broncos head coach. And, everybody always says let Russ cook, which, by the way, I think, in my opinion, Russ only cooks weeks 1 through 4. Maybe you can go 7. And then after that, it's just standard. That's my personal opinion. I mean, I can pull up his passing charts if you want, but
we don't want to see that. We don't want to see that.
We don't want to see it.
Get to the point.
Get to the point. All right.
Get to the point.
Nathaniel Hackett, new Jets OC. What are our thoughts? Is it a possible Aaron Rodgers destination? Is he going to go back and get coordinated underneath Hackett? I mean, they got a good defense. They've got no quarterback contracts, no dead money.
I think if they do not get Aaron Rodgers, I feel like this hiring was kind of a waste. I just feel like the only reason why they were getting him is for A-Rod. But if A-Rod doesn't want to go to New York, which would be kind of ironic because, it's kind of like – it's like he's like Brett Favre, like Brett Favre, he came in for Brett Favre, and then Brett Favre went to the Jets. Now you got Jordan Love, who's probably going to be the starter next year if A-Rod leaves, and he goes to the Jets.
I didn't even think about that. I totally forgot. I always imagined Vikings. But I totally
you got to remember that stint when he was with the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, it's written in stone. The writings are on the wall. Is this confirmed? Are we confirming Aaron Rodgers to the Jets?
History always repeats itself all the time, and it's just right in front of us. We're just not paying attention. The only difference is that Jordan Love is light-skinned. That's the only difference. Besides that, it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Didn't know we were bringing in race to this podcast.
Oh, man. I'm no racist.
Jordan Love, I hope he does good. I really do. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has always been known to be sort of a diva. You know, who knows how much mentoring he has done for Jordan Love and stuff like that. But, I mean, you drafted him in I think, late first round a couple of years ago.
25th overall.
It's time. It's time to see what you got in him. I mean, otherwise, like, what are you doing with him? I wouldn't want to trade him somewhere else. He's been in that system for 5 years or however many long it's been.
And when he came in, when A-Rod was hurt during the Eagles game, he played pretty well. I know it was just thrown into the fire, but you know he has some zip on that ball. He was making plays. You know, pause. And good looks. But yeah, it's time for him to get the job. I just think that before it gets real ugly, I think A-Rod and, you know, hopefully they signed a prenup with each other. But if they don't get if Hackett doesn't get A-Rod, then, you know, are they going to roll with someone like Mike White, Joe Flacco? I know Zach Wilson, he's done in New York. You know, I'm not saying his NFL career is done, but his time in, you know, the Big Apple, it's gone. Bye-bye. She's gone. Never coming back, you know. It's like your ex-girlfriend who you think's always going to come back, but she never will. Because she never will come back. Because she never comes back. Exactly. And, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of Nathaniel Hackett. I do think it's good that Russ is going to get a new coach. We'll see which one was really the problem.
Yeah.
But, you know, Russ showed some glimpses, but for the most part, man, that offense was atrocious. Horrible. Yeah. You know, there's no reason why your defense gives up 16 points a game and you can't win. You're not supposed to win 4 games. It's bad.
Inexcusable, in my opinion. Yeah. You know, I hope Russell Wilson does good. I really do. I hope it wasn't him because he's a great character. I mean, think of all the memes that we have constructed.
He's just corny. That's all it is.
So corny. And it goes back to, I believe on the Bustin' with the Boys podcast, they had Melvin Gordon on to describe how he was at Wisconsin. Corny dude, man. Corny.
He's corny. But you know what? For the most part, he's a great father for what it seems like. He has a beautiful wife.
You talking about Mr. Unlimited. Unlimited.
Yeah, but there's something about him, man. When he's being corny like that, he's not playing well. It just rubs people the wrong way. Kind of makes it seem like he just doesn't care. Like he more cares about his image, which I think he cares about winning. But yeah, he's just super corny, man. Just really corny. That's. I don't know how else to describe Russell Wilson. It's the corniest dude I've probably ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, we got Nathaniel Hackett, and now breaking news yesterday, or I think it was today. Yesterday, they announced that Kellen Moore was mutually going to part ways with Dallas. And we were all like, okay, and Mike McCarthy's going to call the plays and whatnot. And today, we got word that Kellen Moore is going to go to the Los Angeles Chargers with Justin Herbert. Two things we're going to figure out. One, the Cowboys had a highly productive offense the last 2 years. Very, very productive, but there were definitely some problems. You run all curls on like 2nd and 2 late in the game, and it ends up being thrown a pick. You can put that on whoever. There just was – I just think – I can go into so much detail about it. I just think that Kellen Moore is too hot and cold, at least for the Dallas organization. Now, if he goes to the Chargers – and just absolutely blows them away, and just like the numbers are efficient. Herbert gets playoff wins, you know, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams efficiency increase. And we see this massive production from him, that will confirm my second theory. One, Kellen Moore was a problem, and two, them calls are coming from the damn house, from inside the house, from Mr. Jerry, from Emperor Palpatine.
Oh yeah, baby. Good movie.
That is a big, whoop, like red alert. We're sailing off into we ain't sailing off into no sunset anytime soon.
I've always liked Kellen Moore as a coordinator. The only thing I didn't like is when you'd call those stupid reverses. But for the most part, I liked him, and it's not that I never didn't blame him. But, it's like everything we talk about, there's always a scapegoat. What was Dak's scapegoat? Kellen Moore.
Jason Garrett, too.
What's Kellen Moore's scapegoat? Dak Prescott. Everybody has a scapegoat in some kind of way. Something you do. Yeah, there's always a scapegoat. I think it's going to be a big year this year is going to be very important to both Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott. I'm really intrigued because I think Justin Herbert is a top 3 quarterback. I think he's exceptional throwing the ball. He was running around with Josh Palmer as his number 1 for 3 weeks. And, maybe his numbers weren't the best. He didn't throw too many touchdowns. But you give him a good offense. And what I did like about the Chargers is that they were always aggressive on 4th down. It's one of my favorite things, Don't put the hands of the game with your kicker, your punter, unless you have to. But for the most part, it's 4th and 2, 4th and 3. You have a great quarterback. You trust your guys. Go for it.
Yeah.
We're convicts. We go for it all.
Unfortunately, that's why we're all in the joint.
Just kidding, guys. Not a convict.
Another Longest Yard reference. Great movie. Paul Crew right here. If you catch him on Tuesdays over here at the park playing football, that's Paul Crew, jack of all trades right there.
Yeah, man. They don't realize, they call me sneaky athletic. I like to say I'm a Swiss Army knife. I can just do it all. I got to prove them every once in a while, but you boys retired, man. But I think for Kellen Moore, I think he'll do very well under the Chargers, and I'm really intrigued about if Mike McCarthy is actually going to be calling plays. How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, from what I believe, he called plays for Aaron Rodgers, back in the days, and everybody's complaining, saying it's going to be slant flats all day and stuff like that, which in that case, I don't even think that just feels like the same thing to me. And
he's a run-heavy guy.
That is also a thing. He's a run-heavy guy, which my biggest complaint with the Dallas Cowboys in general is that their offense has not had an official identity for about 3 years. I mean, you can that first year that I'm counting with Andy Dalton, a lot of, Dak had that freak accent, which, by the way, to go back to your reverses with Kellen Moore, I believe the last time that a reverse worked from Kellen Moore was when Dak Prescott snapped his ankle. So I don't want them to ever work again.
2020. Yeah.
I don't want them to ever work again. If that's the case, we ain't running them reverses no more. But he's got a run heavy offense. McCarthy does, and I think depending on what happens in that running back room, they could lose both Zeke and Pollard. They could lose Zeke and keep Pollard. They could draft Bijan or Gibbs in the second round. Depending on which route they go, and they want to go run heavy, and they're starting to repatch their offensive line. I think it could work. I really do. But I think the important thing is you got to have an identity. You don't want Dak going out there going, am I going to sling it today, or am I going to throw it 25 times and we're going to pound the rock?
Niners are very good about that. That's what makes them a good team. They know that they're going to run the ball. And if they can, it's kind of also like the Tennessee Titans are very good at it too. That's why they're always a pretty solid team. They win about 10 games a year, maybe a little less. They don't have that guy to get them over the hump, which I thought A.J. Brown kind of leaving was a big departure. But, yeah, they have, you got teams like the Titans, the 49ers, the Chiefs. They all have identities.
The Eagles.
Titans, Eagles.
The Eagles is a great example.
They'll RPO you to death. They will run the ball. Great running back committee. You got Miles Sanders, which is a very underrated running back. Yeah. Awesome in Madden, by the way. That man, you run him up the gut in Madden, he's going to get you about 7 yards a carry.
Yeah, that spin move works, tell you that.
Yeah. Gainwell's a great player. Scott, if you just need a little bit, a little bowling ball action, maybe just a little turkey going, fucking, You know.
Yeah.
You don't like my turkey? You don't like my turkey expression?
That sounded like a damn Nerf gun.
What kind of Nerf gun you played with, bro?
I don't know. It sounded like an airsoft gun or something.
Yeah, it sounded like you're playing with a paintball gun, not a Nerf gun. You can get that checked.
You want the work in paintball or what?
I'm always down with the smoke.
Fair enough. All right, well, that's Kellen Moore. Next up is going to be our entertainment segment. This is brand new. We're going to call it's ADP, average draft position. We're going to pick a category, and our first category for the first episode of the podcast is a Star Wars movies. You pick your top 3 of your average draft position, 1.01, 1.02, 1.03. Play fantasy football, you know what this means. Start from 3, go down to 1. I'll let you go first. Your top 3 Star Wars movies. This is a great topic.
All right. Number 3. Oh, yeah. You know my number 1. Number 3. I'm going to go with Phantom Menace.
Okay.
Phantom Menace. Number 2, I'm going to go with Empire Strikes Back.
Right. Of
and
course.
then number 1, top 10 movie of all time. The greatest movie in Star Wars history. Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, that one will make a grown man cry.
I kid you not. I didn't cry when I was a kid, but I watched that 10 years later, and when Obi-Wan's telling him, "You are the chosen one." Oh, man.
You were sent to bring balance to the Force, not leave it in darkness.
He's like, "You are my brother, Anakin. I loved you." And then Anakin looks at him with this, rage, and the dark force taking over. He's like, "I hate you." Oh man, that scene always.
And then Sidious plants the death of Padme directly on Anakin just to fuel his rage for the next 70 years of Star Wars, trilogies.
Padme is.
George Lucas, pat on the back for that movie. That's a good list. My number 3, I have The New Hope. The reason I put that one in there is because it just starts the whole thing.
It kind of starts it off, yeah.
It's the first one that was ever made, and somehow it connects with Phantom Menace, which is,
they had to go.
I'm sorry.
They went reverse. Yeah. They did the.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Somehow the Revenge of the Sith connects with A New Hope, is what I'm going to say.
Yeah, they did the Benjamin Button style. They went the other way, but it's all good though.
I don't know how they did that. That's some Illuminati crap. But number 2, my 1.02 position, I have to put Rogue One. I don't know. You may have actually not even seen this movie. It's not part of the trilogies. I just like that pre-New Hope, right before the Empire comes in and starts blowing planets up and stuff like that. This is about the first planet that actually blew up, Alderaan, which, not to get all geeky, but Rogue One. Awesome.
Bring it out. It's so cute when you get.
We're watching it when this podcast ends. The ending clip, because we both like Vader and Anakin. That is one of the most badass Anakin scenes, Darth Vader scenes in cinematic history. At the end, just whips out that red lightsaber, pause, and just goes after these rebels. Pause again. All right, my number 1 is it's obvious. It's Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith, man. There's nothing.
You can't top it.
That's the greatest Star Wars battle ever.
Yeah.
Anakin versus Obi-Wan.
To go from the lightsaber wars of the Revenge of the Sith, and then go into the new trilogy and watch Kylo Ren go just, I don't even know how to describe it, just basic moves, and Rey can't even compete. But we make her compete because, I don't want to get into that, but we make her compete. And
Disney.
It's awful. Disney, it just got worse and worse. But, I'm glad they made the movies, but I wish it would have been better. So, yeah, that's our ADP segment right there. That's our first category, Star Wars movies. Number 1 for both of us is Revenge.
If you haven't seen them, go watch them.
Next off is
watch them in order.
We got Dak trade rumors going around.
Please trade him, man. Please.
Hey,
Cooper Rush time. Cooper Rush time.
Simmer down. Let's dive into this a little bit. Also got rumors of a restructured contract. What are your opening thoughts on trade rumors and, the fact that they're going to restructure his contract and stuff like that, maybe?
I think they need to trade Dak and get Cooper Rush back in the starting lineup. That's when we played best.
You can't be serious.
Nah, I'm just
okay. Yeah,
I'm just teasing.
That's a bull dive, Skip.
That's a bull job. No.
It is my turn.
It's my turn. Yeah. Oh yeah, I believe it's a little too early to trade. It's kind of like they always say trade someone a year before you're untradeable. Yeah. What you?
All right, my bad. I'm sorry.
That's all good, man. Keep laughing, man. Keep laughing. But I think you should give Dak one more chance, especially with the new OC. You really can't trade him before you get a new OC. It kind of defeats the purpose of firing your OC. Wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You bring in a guy. I'm not sure who they're going to bring in if he's actually going to call plays, but I think it's a little too early. But Dak's on the clock. That's for sure. He doesn't have that much longer to do that. As far as restructuring the contract, one thing that Jerry Jones has been really good at is, taking some money and turning it into bonuses, which doesn't make it hit the cap. I'm not really sure how much they could do with his contract, saying they already gave him $75 million guaranteed. I don't know how well they can actually reconstruct it, but yeah, it's a little too early to be trading him. But yeah, you got to give him at least a chance with this new OC and find out what's the internal problem of the whole Cowboys.
So that's what pisses off. Oh, sorry, I thought you were done.
No. Go ahead. As I was saying, I was saying, go ahead.
But I think that's what pisses me off most about the media and stuff like that is that they actually talk about Dak trade rumors. It's like, dude, where are you going to dump off his contract to? Who's going to take him right now? Who's going to be better than him right now? Are you going to trade him for a first-round pick? Or do people think he's worth that? Are you going to risk this great roster with Dan Quinn returning and Mike McCarthy back-to-back playoff appearances and stuff like that? Dak had his best year last year, not in 2022, in 2021. What are you going to do? You're just going to move off that and risk it with some rookie quarterback or some dude that hasn't been in the system for all those years? I personally think right now it does not make any sense.
This quarterback draft class is not the best one in recent years, but the one next year is supposed to be fantastic.
Yes, yeah. There are some names
like two or three. Yeah, apparently there's supposed to be like 2 or 3 guys next year where they're going to be day one starters, Caleb Williams, guys like that. I think the only team that would take him right now is Calzada. You got Max Johnson, guys like that. But I think for the most part, the only team that would take him would probably be the Colts, knowing the Colts history. But I don't even think they would do that right now. Yeah, they like getting those guys, those veterans, because they're like, all we need is a veteran quarterback. That system has not worked. I think they're kind of done and fed up with it. They're probably going to draft a quarterback this year as well. So we'll see how that goes.
In my PFF mock draft, which I can drop on our new Twitter website, I actually traded – we'll get to this later. I actually traded a pick with the Chicago Bears to get them the first pick and went with Will Levis. So there are some good names. It's definitely not as bad as last year. Last year's quarterback draft class was just, in my opinion, was atrocious. But back to the Dak thing and trade rumors and stuff like that. I think this is the second version of a 1-year prove it deal. Jalen Hurts, they argue that he had a 1-year prove it deal, which doesn't really make much sense to me this year. I think he had a great year. He'll probably do it again the next 2 or 3 years with the roster he has. But Trey Lance coming up, that's a 1-year prove it deal. But this is, I think, a 2.0 of that, where it's like, okay, who's the problem here? We got this great roster, blah, blah, blah. We're getting to the playoffs, the divisional round. Who's going to break the curse? How are we going to do it? So, I think they'll probably restructure it, and they'll keep Dak for at least another year.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see how it goes.
Hopefully better than this year. So, the next question is, who do we think we're drafting in the first round this year? If we have the roster we have today, you can question whether we're keeping Pollard or Zeke or we're keeping Dan Quinn. We got Trayvon Diggs on one side. Darren Bland's going to be that returner on the second side. Who do we see drafting in that first round?
Man, that's so
it's a difficult decision.
It's so hard because we have a 26 overall pick. So at that point, if we don't trade up, we're getting a lot of kind of leftover first rounders. Maybe. Actually, if I'm being honest, I would not be surprised if they trade out of the first round. Maybe get more ammunition for like maybe next year, or But I don't see them if they're gonna. I think I see them trading back. I don't know if there's anything at the 26 position that we can actually use. But like we could get someone later on that we can have. We need interior help, maybe get like a lineman. But you don't have to take that with the 26. You can let people who actually have needs, scoot up. And I think which I don't think he's gonna fall, but if Bijan Robinson's there, I think they might take him. If Mike McCarthy is calling plays, he's really run heavy, I would not be surprised.
As much as I don't really want that to happen, no disrespect at all towards Bijan, because he's an incredible athlete, and I would love to have him on the team. I just think you can get a better valued running back in the second round and beyond. I think you're right though. I think that if anything, I think Cowboys, if they trade up, I would say there's got to be a wide receiver there that they want. Jackson Smith and Jiba. Jordan Allison, names like those, Zay Flowers, all those names could be just poof gone by the time we get our pick. Then if that's the case, and it's depending on what everybody thinks they need and their offseason moves before the draft, I think it would be smart for them to trade back into the second round and get higher valued picks back to back. Maybe get a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs, maybe a guy like Jalen Wyatt out of Tennessee, the wide receiver,
Yeah, I mean they could easily, trade back, get a couple of second round picks instead of just using one pick for the. So I can see a team like maybe like the Bears. The Bears might trade up, because they have the 32nd or 33rd pick of the draft. I can see them.
Yeah, I think it's 32nd because the Dolphins, they had to forfeit their first round pick.
That's
yeah.
Right.
So
I can see them. I could see them, doing something like that. But we'll see how it goes, and I would not be surprised. I think they should trade back.
Yeah,
it's also very hard to tell with Pollard and you got guys like Vander Esch and we got to sign some guys, and then once we have a better understanding of what we're doing with our team, it's gonna be a lot easier. But
some guys got to kick rocks, and some guys we got to resign. It's just a matter of who's that's going to be, and hopefully they make the smart decisions.
I think they need to bring back Vander Esch. That's for sure.
He had a great year, and the one thing is about Dan Quinn and Jerry Jones, they have their guys, and that is one thing we saw last year when they drafted both Tyler Smith and Sam Williams. Like they wanted those guys, and you could argue they got them for a less value than they could have. They could have got them later in the draft, whatever it may be. But, they got their guys. And, Sam Williams is going to have a bigger role next year. And Tyler Smith played well.
Tyler Smith, I'm really excited for Tyler Smith. I think he's a fantastic player. He's only 21 years old. He has much more. He still has a little bit of a penalty problem, but you can always fix that up. You're only 21. He's not going to be like Tyron Smith, but not everybody's Tyron Smith. Not everybody's like the human Trojan.
Yeah.
And, looking forward to it.
All right. And so this goes back to what I mentioned earlier. What do we think's happening with Chicago? Do you think they're going to stay at the first round pick and maybe go with an interior defensive lineman or an edge? Do you think they back up and draft that same position, or what do you think?
I think they could possibly trade back, but I think they already have their eyes on the guy they want. I think they're going to get Will Anderson. They lost Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
They lost Robert Quinn. I believe that defensive end pass rushers is top 3 most important position you need on a team. You need like a quarterback, tackle, and you need a pass rusher. And Will Anderson was the best defensive player in college for the last 2 years. I believe they will only trade back if they know the people are going to draft a quarterback. So Houston's probably drafting a quarterback.
Yeah.
Then you got teams like maybe like the Colts, the Panthers, teams like that. But if they're not
Raiders
gonna,
as well.
yeah, they want a quarterback. So I think they're gonna, if they trade back, they're gonna still have their eyes on their guy Will Anderson. I don't believe I saw a couple of rumors about Justin Fields, and they're wanting to think about trading him, which I think is not a fan of. But give the guy some time. You have a lot of cap room. But I believe that they should, if they're going to stay at one, get Will Anderson. If they trade back, get Will Anderson. I think that's the best value they can get for what they need at position-wise.
Yeah,
what do you believe?
I think that I can really see them trading back. I think with the teams that you mentioned, the Colts, the Raiders, the Panthers, those are the teams that probably clearly need a quarterback, especially the Raiders and the Colts. The Panthers, I'm not sure what tarnation they're going to do over there because, they got Sam Darnold, who it's like, we believe in him. We don't believe in him. We believe in him now after he's, it's very consistent.
Well, it's really hard. It's really hard to talk about what's going to happen, especially with, you got teams like Lamar. You have Lamar, Derek Carr. Tua could possibly retire. Like, these are teams that
Jimmy G as well. I mean,
those are
mid as he is.
It's gonna. I think the offseason for quarterbacks is gonna look like the NBA offseason. The trading, every time when NBA the trade deadline, and then when free agency starts, it's like Woj bomb one after another, just boom, 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 boom. And I think,
I would compare it a lot to the MLB trade deadline.
Oh, that one's a good one too.
It is hectic. I mean, you don't know who's. I mean, you can get players for cash. You're sending 2 or 3 players, 1 to 2.
Also, it's because you got the farmhouse players.
Yeah,
like cash, and then
it's like running a dynasty league in fantasy.
Oh yeah,
you're trading for the future a lot of times.
Yeah, that's what I always liked about the Astros doing that, especially when they got Verlander.
I tell you what, the Astros did that, and obviously now they're legitimate and stuff like that. They got a bunch of young prospects. I tell you who is on the come up, and I will stand by this. And I'm a fan of them. It's the Rangers. They just patched up their pitching staff. They've been trading their best players for those prospects ever since. And I believe I saw a Twitter post there in the top 10 for youngest prospects. But that's a different topic for another time. Who knows? They might be able to do some damage. Astros still run the AL West. Which is perfectly fine with me. They proved to everybody. But so, all right, we got our NFL honors predictions, and I can read them off for you. There's a couple good names in there. For most valuable player, you've got people like, and I'll probably read the most important ones, but they've got 5 listed here. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Jetta, and Mahomie. So
Mahomie!
Yeah, I would have to say it probably, because the point that we always go back to is when they're doing the first team and second team All-Pro, you can see the executive votes, I believe. And
they're the same voters.
They're the same voters for the AP, like most valuable player and whatnot. And so the majority picked Mahomes as first team, which probably just means he's going to win MVP. My honorable mention, I think Mahomes will win MVP. But my honorable mention, you can put Jalen Hurts in there for sure. I can't ignore Jetta's season this year. I mean,
what about
that dude? Hey, yo, simmer. Simmer. Last year, very close.
First 7 weeks, I respect it. Yeah, he did. He played good for 7 weeks.
37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 11 wins. He was hurt for 1 game. That's a good stat line, but you're right. After that calf injury and shoulder injury, he kind of slowed down. But I got Mahomes winning MVP. You got Mahomes winning MVP. Don't ignore Jetta's season. Jetta played outstanding.
Hey, he was on my fantasy team. You know how I felt about him. Every time he scored a touchdown, I'll hit the gritty.
One of the worst gritties I've ever seen, but it was.
I'll be like. You know me, bro. I hit the gritty for everybody. I hit the McGriddle.
Every chance I get.
Every chance I get, I'm hitting the McGriddle.
Defensive Player of the Year, we got Bosa. Chris Jones and Micah Parsons. it's probably they always go by sacks. A sleeper in here that actually probably should be in here is Hassan Reddick, and he made it known on Twitter. But
great player.
But
he's like Micah Parsons, but he ain't Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons does more than Nick Bosa, and he had more pressures. I believe. I know right before the postseason started, he had like more pressures. Nick Bosa obviously has way more sacks, and I think it will be Nick Bosa.
It will be. He's
been
in the conversation for the last 3 years. People believe that, I guess mostly 49ers fans, not going to mention any, but they know who they are. They were saying he was screwed out of the Defense Player of the Year conversation last year. Played a great year. Defense is the best defense in the league, which talent everywhere. But, yeah, you got to give credit when credit's due. Got to give it to Bosa.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
What about kicker? Are we doing kicker of the year? I got
Brett Maher.
Yeah. I got Brett Maher.
I got Greg Zerline.
I got Greg the Leg.
Offensive Player of the Year. There's this is where my boy comes in. We got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Hurts, Jetta, and Patrick Mahomes. It's probably going to be Hurts, honestly.
I'm giving it to Jetta's.
But I would give it to Jetta, yeah. It's going to be Hurts, I think, because they want to give him MVP because they think they both deserve it probably. But they'll probably just give him Player of the Year. But
I'm biased. I had Tyreek Hill and Jetta on my team.
Tua made Tyreek Hill look like damn Megatron all year. I've never seen.
I didn't realize he could. I didn't even realize he could catch jump balls like that. Like he's just constantly, Tua. He's accurate, but man, does he have a noodle arm?
Yeah, damn. He needs to. Yeah. Hopefully he's okay health wise. Rookie of the Year. Oh God, this name annoys me.
K9 off the leash.
Yeah, Brock Purdy, Kenneth Walker, and Garrett Wilson. I don't think Brock Purdy has enough on there to win it. I think he kind of needed to play a full. If he played a full season, he probably would have won it, no doubt. But it's just 7 games, and that does not count playoffs. This is not a playoff award. I think
they're gonna give it to Garrett Wilson because also Kenneth Walker didn't play a whole year.
True. Yeah.
I would go K9, but I think they're going to give it to Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, I would go K9 as well. I'd be happy if Garrett Wilson got it too. He was, for the quarterback situation he had over there, for him to be doing what he was doing was highly impressive.
Are you looking at my fantasy team because you named Tyreek Hill, Jetta?
Oh no, we're missing Tay. This is a 12-man, by the way. We're missing Tay. We got Tyreek Hill in there. We've got Jetta. I haven't seen Eckler's name yet. You had Justin Fields at quarterback.
Woo-hoo-hoo, boy!
What are you supposed to do? My fault on the Eckler one. I made a dumb trade. But
160 a game, 12-man league. I was out here. Shout out to my boys, Jared and Denny, for Tay and Eckler, bro.
Shout out to the 2 homies that haven't paid yet. We're going to come knocking on your door.
Yeah, don't let us come find you. Don't let me find out where you at. I still want my money. I need my money.
The kid needs his money, and the rookie's going to help. The rook's going to help him do it. At the end of the day. Defensive Rookie of the Year, we got Sauce Gardner, Aiden Hutchinson, and Tyreek Woolen. It's probably going to be Sauce. It's probably going to be Sauce. I mean, everybody.
Hot sauce because he's hot. I mean, because he's good.
Tyreek Woolen, I think, is second. I think he's right behind him.
No, he played. He's a very good rookie.
Which leads me to our boy, Goat Man. Comeback Player of the Year. We got Barkley, McCaffrey, and Geno.
Goat Man, Geno. Geno all the way. Geno. It ain't over until I win. Dream on. Yeah.
That's great.
Man, I love watching Geno Smith play, man.
That is such an awesome story.
I love watching him play, man.
Anytime
the Seahawks were on, I was always excited to watch him, man. He grew on me a lot. That's a fantastic story, fantastic player. Hey, in my opinion, best deep ball in the league. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm talking consistently throwing a deep ball. I'm not saying the strongest arm, but best deep ball, all that.
He could spin it. He can
Poise
spin
in the pocket.
I don't think I've ever seen him throw a duck.
I've seen him throw a couple of ducks, especially in Madden. But in real life, he's not that bad. He's not that bad.
All right, AP Coach of the Year. We got Daboll, Kyle Shanahan, Doug Peterson, and Nick Sirianni. You can add Sean McDermott in there if you want. This is a tough one.
I was to say Daboll.
I mean.
But they're probably going to go with Sirianni, bro. They're probably going to go with Nick.
I would say either Daboll or Doug Peterson.
I think because I saw a report that the Giants, they only had like 2 signings in the offseason. All they did was get a coach. They didn't change up anything too much. They had Daniel Jones, which this is a prove-it year for Daniel Jones. Now they're thinking about signing him again.
Yeah, 30 million.
Think, he's looking like Vanilla Vic and – I think it has to be Daboll. If you really want to go into like the logistics and actual what it means to be a coach, but 1 seed, the Eagles, I think you gotta give it to Sirianni and all that.
Yeah, I agree. All right, and then concluding our show, we have our sleeper 8-leg parlay, which is currently in motion. Man, I tell you what, I love Sleeper. We use it for our fantasy apps, and we are in no way sponsored by them and whatsoever, although we would absolutely love that. I use it for betting. I use it for fantasy. They got the new 8-leg system in there, which is like 100 times what you put in. So we've had a whole slate in there, and I can try and put it in the chat. It starts off with James Harden, which he's probably almost done by now, honestly.
James Harden did not hit.
Yeah, good talk.
Let's see, though. We got Anthony Edwards, who needs – Gobert needs 2 rebounds. Anthony Edwards needs like 7 more points because he's at 32. He needs 39. All right, the Pistons I don't know how the Pistons are winning right now. They were down 10-0 to start the game. They're winning by 11 now. Duran is at 9 points, 1 assist, 3 rebounds. So he's close. Game third quarter just started. The Spurs player, Jacob, that man hit in like 5 seconds. He already hit. Klay Thompson, I believe, has already hit. He has 19 points.
He was very close when we started the podcast.
19 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. I'm pretty sure he's nailed that.
Hopefully. It was a blowout when we were looking at it. Gold State was winning by a lot. So hopefully.
Oh, no, it's a close game now. It's
good deal. Yeah.
Warriors up by 2 with 8 minutes left.
Dang.
Let's see. Kyrie Irving, 26 points, 6 assists, and he had 7 rebounds. I believe Kyrie probably hit. I could be totally wrong.
Anyway, we have that 8-leg in motion. We'll be able to post it on our next episode. We're going to post our prior predictions for probably the Super Bowl or whatever NBA games are that weekend. We will post it on our next episode. That way you guys can view it before the games actually happen. And that way you can maybe, fade off of ours or because I would say we have won so many jackpots. It's so crazy. I mean, I am so rich.
I am so damn rich.
Yeah. We're like just the rest of you, but we do our research and we like using Sleeper, and we have a lot of content for you guys in the future. Thank you guys for joining our first official podcast. This has been awesome. We got the Kid and the Rook.
Thank you guys for listening.
Great first episode. Hopefully you guys like it. You can like and subscribe. We're going to be posting it to our YouTube channel. Follow our Twitter. I'll be dropping it down once the link has been sent out. And we're getting ready for episode 2 coming up. So thank you guys. This is the Rook and the Kid podcast.
Peace out.
Gig Maggies. Go Cowboys.